Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neeves Knives. Now, I'm going to answer Con Guitar's question because he's in Spain and it's like 2:30 in the morning there right now. I'm just pulling up this video so I can see the things I can't see on StreamYard. I can't pull it up until I go live. So, anyways, so as far as the Hogue Deca in Magna Cut versus the Native 5 in Magna Cut. So one, as far as the heat treating steels, I would say they're pretty similar because they're both doing it. Hogue's doing it 63 to 64 now, as long as you got a new one, you know, and you didn't buy an old one that's been around for a couple of years. 63 to 64, and Spyderco's doing it at 63. So they're basically the same as far as that. Spyderco could possibly be a little bit superior because Spyderco kind of specializes in really good heat treats. But Hogue does a good job too. So so put that to the side. The biggest thing you're going to want to consider is the locking system. I personally am not a huge fan of backlocks. There's some backlocks I'm cool with, you know, depending, but I'm not a huge backlock fan. So I prefer a crossbar lock way over a backlock. But if you like a backlock, then it probably be better for you to go with the Spyderco. The reason why is because you're not going to like the scales on the Magna Cut version of the Hogue. You're going to want to replace them. Now, I'm not saying to cancel it and swap yet, but if you can get scales, you're going to probably want to, unless if you're okay with it being extremely, extremely, extremely lightweight, because that's what they went with for the Magna Cut version of this, which doesn't make sense, really. You think they'd put G10 on it, considering it's a super tough steel. You know, why would they put FRN? But they did. Regardless, they did, and it's very flimsy. You can flex it. Now, I have a deal down in the description, Original Goats scales. I'm not sure if they ship to Spain or not, but you can pick up some scales. I know you said that it's very expensive for you in Spain and everything, or you could just live with the Hogue Deca and just know that it's going to be very, very, very lightweight and very flimsy. Not that it's not tough, not that it's not strong, but you're going to feel that flex. Like when you squeeze it in your hand, you're going to feel the scales flexing together. Now, Spyderco, even though it is still FRN, if you got the lightweight one, I think they are lightweight. Anyways, they don't flex. So Spyderco's FRN is actually really good. It's probably the best FRN you could buy, to be honest. So I would take that into consideration. If it was me, I would just get the Hogue Deca with the scales. But if I had no ability to get the scales, then I would probably go with the Spyderco, to be honest. You know, so you just got to consider those things. Yes, they ship here, but it's expensive than the scale itself, almost $100. So what I would say is don't go for the titanium scales, go for the aluminum scales. That's what I did. These are aluminum, and I mean, it feels very similar to the titanium. Obviously, the titanium still has a little bit superior feel, but these are super strong, super lightweight. And then you know what else is really cool about the aluminums is that the weight doesn't even go up. I mean, this thing, I didn't notice any difference in the weight between the FRN and these. So but and you can always plan to get those in the future, save up for it, or you know, just cancel it and order that Spyderco. I mean, that's up to you, but I personally like a crossbar lock a little bit more. Shed Knives is in the house. What's up, brother? Shout out to Shed Knives. Chris Jones, 2 bones. Thank you, brother. Smack the hell out of that like button, peeps. Shout out to Bones. We actually have a fragrance of the day that came from him. We actually have a few others, some really, really good men's fragrances. He sent me one to check out, and we're going to be talking about it. It's a banger. And when we get to that part of this video, you guys are going to realize why I like it so much, because it's actually very similar to something else I've talked about a lot. But we also have some other ones because I wanted to talk about some super masculine fragrances today. I know we talk a lot about the blues and the sweet fragrances and a lot of the freshies, which are the most popular for the most part. But you know, today we're going to go through some super, super masculine fragrances. So no sweet, no fresh, all, I mean, some might be a little fresh. Depends on your opinion on fresh. I will get both in the future, yes, but the Magna Cut version of the Native is like limited edition here. Just 2 stores had stock, but they are out of stock. Now they restock just 1 unit. Yeah, just go with the Deca, man. The Deca is a good one. If you already ordered it, screw it, man. Just get the Deca. The Deca is a badass knife. I love the Deca. This is like my favorite lightweight knife. You know, next the Cubit is another one that I really like for lightweight knives. I have like 5 knives for lightweight knives as far as lightweight knives go, and these two are my favorites. Like I said, I just can't stand the FRN scales, but you know, over like a 6-month period, just save up and get the scales. That way, you know what you can do is you'll have a brand new knife. Because when you change the scales, the knife's a different knife. It's not like hands down a completely different knife. So you can enjoy throwing your knife. You can enjoy your knife for, you know, a few months. And then when you get the scales, it'll be like getting a brand new knife. The RSK1 is the improved version of the full-size Griptilian. Yeah, you know what's funny though about that, Jim, is I personally like the Griptilian more. And the reason why is because of the sheep's foot blade with the hole. Now, if Hogue had the sheep's foot blade with the hole, I would 100% like it better. But mine has a nice detent. Mine's rock solid. I have a perfect example of the bench weight Griptilian. Perfect. But I had the RSK, but I wound up trading it or selling it or doing something with it because I didn't like it as much as the sheep's foot Griptilian. Will the OG scales work with Flytanium tie cage on the Manix 2? I'm not sure if OG has Manix scales. You have to double check that. I don't know if they have original or if they have Manix scales. I would imagine they would if they have the scales because it's just, you know, it's this should be the same fitment of the cage. You know, the cage is the same size. It's just, you know, different material. So it should. Yeah, that's for sure. Deca here in Spain, there is good stock. I think I'll buy the native if I can. And in a month, buy the Deca, just a stock thing. Yeah, I mean, if you have the opportunity to get the, you know, I guess I misunderstood. I thought you said that they were sold out and there was only like one left or something like that. But yeah, if you have the opportunity to get that one, get it, grab it. You can always get the Deca later, especially if there's plenty in stock. And then you'll be happy with the FRN, at least, you know, for that type, you know, because they have the best FRN. Hey, Jared, what Wii knife you like better, the Ziphius or the Exiton? That's tough, man. I literally go back and forth. So this is the thing. The Ziphius is definitely more useful for EDC. Hands down, it's better for EDC. The reason why is because of that Wharncliffe blade. That Wharncliffe blade is just precision, right? So the majority of the things that I personally would use an EDC knife for, that knife suits better. I love the look of the Exiton, and the Exiton is going to be a little bit more versatile. Do you know what I mean? Because it has a drop point blade with a dual grind that works great. Works great. So that knife's going to be more versatile, and the Ziphius is going to be better for EDC. So I personally, if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I want to say the Ziphius, even though I liked the Exiton more when I first got them. I really did. I really do like because I love the look of it, man. It's sexy as fuck. So, but so is the Ziphius. But I would probably pick the Ziphius. It's tough though, man, because I like the Exiton more at first. But after, you know, I've had them both for some time. Um, I like them both pretty equally though. Like it's very tough. Like tomorrow I could change my mind. Jared, OG does make Manix 2. I'm getting the same textures you have in your deck. Oh, very cool. I didn't know they had some of those. That's awesome. Very cool. Maybe I should grab a set too. I thought I thought they had an one last set of the Yojimbo scales that I was supposed to get. Um, I'm not sure, but hopefully I'll get those. I think I might have to wait for them to restock though, because I might have sold before I got a chance. They were supposed to send it to me. Hey Jared, where'd it go? Hey Jared, which is the best fixed blade for Spyderco? What's Spyderco's best fixed blade? I don't really know. I don't really have too many of the fixed blades. The best one that I've tried was their the Gail Bradley one. I forget the name of it, but it was designed by Gail Bradley. It was, yeah, here it is. The Bradley Bowie. That's the best one I tried. The Spyderco Bradley buoy, but I don't know if it's available. But then if you can, the mule series are dope. I love the mule series knives, and then you can get them in so many different steels and stuff. But the mule is for an EDC fixed blade. That's probably the best in my opinion. Just get it with scales though, because they will sell you just the blade without no scales. I picked up a Scarab 2 Shadow on a trade. This thing makes the Ultratech feel like child's toy. Also, you just commented on the last slide that the Spyderco makes a fantastic job on their heat treat, especially on their S30V. My question is, heat treat affects corrosion resistance, make them better or worse? So yes, heat treat can affect the corrosion resistance a little bit, but not at the level like of which you'll probably ever notice. But yeah, I do hear like depending on how they do it can affect the corrosion resistance to some extent. But I would say just go depending on the steel. Now, Spyderco, yes, Spyderco does a really good job with their heat treatments. So you're going to get the best out of the steel usually when you go to Spyderco, especially as far as the last like 2 years goes. But if you're worried about corrosion resistance, just make sure you get a corrosion resistant steel. I've been digging the Wii Fornix lately. Great little knife. Yeah, that's a good question. Ziphius for me, but I'm torn because I like both. So am I. I'm torn. Like I really, like I said, I'll pick the Ziphius right now, but in 10 minutes I could switch just for some stupid reason. Oh, you got the Spyderco Subvert in 20 CV. I got to try one of those finally at Blade Show for the first time. That thing is sweet. And everybody said like the detent was super light. The one I tried, the detent was nice. But yeah, that one's definitely cool. Ecotech says, just received the QB Titius in titanium green. Thanks, Jared, for the recommendation. Want the purple one too. That's a good one, right? It's a solid one. No, I got it actually sitting right over here. No, that's a really good one. For $100, you can't beat it. I know on their site now it's 120, but you can go to other sites and get it for $100. Titanium frame lock that's contoured with micro milling and 14C with it's anodized, man. You can't beat that. That is solid. And they do a really good job. Like it's not like it's just because I can name 100 titanium knives that are $100, but they're not great quality. What's your experience with Spyderco Spy 27? It's said that it's comparable to S30 and S35, but wanted your opinion on that steel. I haven't used it that much. I've only really tested it like one time, to be honest. So I'm definitely not the guy to speak on Spy 27. I've dealt with like almost all the steels I've dealt with 1,000 times, but then there's like these specific steels that I just have not had the chance to really try, at least for a long extended period or on multiple knives, because I never like to determine my opinion on, because I did this in the past where I determined my opinion based off of like 1 or 2 examples, and then I was completely wrong, and it made it to where like everything I thought about that steel was wrong because I wound up trying more examples and getting a better experience of it, and the things I thought fell by the wayside. So I tend to want to experience it, a lot before I really speak on it. So I just don't know enough about it. Finally placed an order for a heat treating oven today. Hell yeah. K390 and Damas steel knives coming soon. Hell yeah, dude. Good for you, man. He's coming up, man. I can't wait to actually get some of his work in hand. That would be awesome. Jared just got a Maximum Para 3 from Spyderco. How difficult is it to sharpen? As long as you have diamonds, you'll be just fine. Everybody makes it seem like Maximum is difficult to sharpen. It is not hard at all. It's just, it takes a little bit more time, not much more time. You just want to start with an extra coarse diamond, go to a medium, then go to a fine. You'll be just fine. Just make sure you start with an extra coarse diamond. Don't start with a medium grit. But yeah, and also just don't go past medium grit. That's what I would recommend. It doesn't do well with, like, it'll take a polish. Like, I put a screaming polished edge on Maximum, but you want to talk about it losing it fast. Like, it literally will get slick, like, after like just like a couple dozen cuts. So, and that's a steel that holds an edge forever, but it doesn't hold a fine edge. So it holds a working edge for a very long time. That's what people got to understand about, like, certain steels will hold a fine edge for a long time. Some steels will hold a working edge for a long time. That steel, like if you have 100% of its edge retention, 20% of it is fine edge, 80% is working edge. So its longevity and how long it stays sharp is going to be from a working edge. So you don't want to put an ultra fine edge on there, because that fineness will go away, and then now you're left with a slick edge. And yes, that slickness will stay there forever before it starts chipping and stuff, but it's not going to have no bite. So put a toothy edge on it or a medium grit edge, then you'll get that full extended, where it has bite all the way to the end. Excuse me. I'm cleaning up the Rosie. Hell yeah. Lucky. AJ is a new member. Shout out to the new member, man. Appreciate you joining the Benchmates. Very cool, man. You're awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We just did a Bang Gang live sharpening last Sunday. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday we will have another one. And by the way, guys, I haven't told anybody this, but TS Prof just came out with a new sharpening system, and I actually have it here. I haven't put it together yet, so I can't tell you guys anything about it, but I got it, and I'm going to be doing a video on it soon. It's a brand new system, completely new. So I'm not even sure if I've ever seen it. I don't even know if they have it on their site yet, but that's going to be cool. So maybe we'll do something with that, with the members sharpening, or not. I mean, we can do whatever. And I think you should interview more celebrity knife collectors. It seems like it could be a whole niche video content that nobody has done. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I wouldn't even mind, like, even just some of the people in the community. Like I commented on Melissa Backwood's channel. She commented back to me, and it made it seem like she, obviously has watched the content quite a bit. But and I don't know how true that is, but it seemed like it from her answer. And I shouted out to her. I said, hey, I'd love to collab with you someday, if you want to do it. So it'd be cool to collab with some people like that in the community. I've seen her multiple times, like at Blade Show, but I've never I think we said what's up to each other one time, but like, it was really quick, but I've never like sat there and talked to her on a personal level. So it'd be cool to maybe get together with her or something, or maybe some other people. But I know that there are some, knife collector actors out there. I just don't know how I could personally get in contact with them. It's tough. It's tough. I have not watched all your videos, but I watched it a lot. But can't recall if you did a Sharp by Designs Evo Mini Typhoon. If you did, what's your thoughts? Yeah, hold on a second. So, damn it. Second. Why is this doing this? Oh, that's why. All right, so the Mini Typhoon, I did not do that, but I do have the which one is it? I got the Evo. I got the Mini Evo, and I have the Apex. I have not. I might have done a video on the other one, but I don't think I did though. I can't remember. I have so much content, I can't remember half the shit I've done. But I definitely have a video on the Mini Evo and the Apex. I mix those knives up, man, because like the Evo looks very similar to the Typhoon to me. There's just a little bit of differences. Now, I would love to get a full size Evo, but yeah, haven't seen Kara in a while. Did you hide her in the trunk? Yes, I did. She is in the trunk. I'm surprised you guys can't hear her beating on the walls. I've been a member for a while. I just had to renew my membership. Well, I had to thank it anyways because it came up. It came up, so I got to thank it. I do appreciate all the support, though. Very, very much. Matthew says, I don't have a lot of money, but I don't have a lot of money to buy these knives with super steels. I have bought one knife in S30V and one in S35, and it hurt the wallet. What is a good bang for your buck budget steel? I always recommend 14C28N or 154CM. 154CM is probably the top of the food chain when it comes to budget steels, and then next would be Nitro V and 14C. So 14C and Nitro V is the ones I like the most. I put 154 second, but technically 154 CM would be a little bit above Nitro V and 14C. I put the 14C and Nitro V a little bit ahead of it just because of the type of edges it takes, and the type of sharpening. But yeah, 154 CM, 14C or Nitro V is where you're going to want to go, and you can get them very affordably. You can get Nitro V and 14C for like $65. You can get cheaper than that, but like on a super quality knife. Jared going to buy my first Spyderco, the Tenacious Light, and that's 35 VN, a good knife. So I've only handled the Tenacious. I've never really tested it. But it's a good knife. I mean, it's a liner lock. So I mean, it's a solid knife. I personally love Spyderco's compression lock. So I try to go with their compression locks for the most part. But yeah, the Tenacious is dope. It's a solid knife. I know you can see tests online of like people comparing it to like the Rat 1 and the Tenacious. The one difference between the Rat 1 and the Tenacious is the Rat 1's liner lock is made to not fail, but to have catastrophic failure, meaning it's not going to slip, right? So like if you beat on the spine of it or something happens, it's not going to slip out and unlock. But what it will do is the lock will break. So it's not going to fail under pressure until the lock snaps. The Tenacious, on the other hand, is made to slip. So the Tenacious is made so that the lock does not snap. So it'll slip out. Whichever one's better, you could argue both. Both of them are, because maybe you want a knife that will just fail, but it's still usable. You just lock it back up and continue using it. It's not going to have a catastrophic failure. Or you could say, I don't want something that's going to slip that easily. And, so then if it does fail, it's going to break when it fails, and it won't cut my fingers off because that's what that does. It breaks towards the inside with a Rat 1. Do I have one right here? I do. So when the lock breaks, it breaks this way. So it'll lock up even stronger. So the blade won't close on you, right? But the lock will be broken. You won't be able to unlock it. And now you'll basically have a fixed blade. With a Tenacious, it's going to slip every time, and we'll make it to where you can just open it back up and continue using it. And then you can close it up and put it back in your pocket. Hey, Mom. I appreciate it, Mom. Thank you very much. I love you. And thank you for joining. 14C and 154 CM with a good heat treatment, brother. Yeah, I would recommend for 14C, I always recommend Civivi. If you want 154 CM, I'd recommend Kaiser. Both of them do a good job with them steels. Have you tried the Luft Concepts? Yes, I have a video on it. And you can go check it out. I have a Mini Tempest. Riet no longer making them for Sharp by Designs. Yeah, I actually seen the Sharp by Designs has what was that, a buoy? No, not a buoy. It was I think a trailing point. No, yeah, it was a trailing point blade or something like that. That's going to be their first OEM with Best Tech. We can pull it up really quick. Let me find it so I'm not giving you guys bad information. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. So this is the new model from Sharp by Designs that's coming. You can see it right here, and Best Tech is supposedly doing it. Yeah, see that? Yeah. So I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm not a huge trailing point fanboy, but it's cool. It looks dope. I like the curvature of the handle, and I the only thing I kind of wish, and maybe it is like this, maybe in the handle it'll be like this, but I always like, if you guys see my mouse, well, I would prefer the blade to drop down a little bit so the handle is above the blade. That way, what happens is when you're holding it in your hand like this, the blade kind of cants down and then back up, and it allows you to use the tip for EDC purposes, but doesn't take away its ability to be, a stabber or, a skinner and things like that. That's my favorite way. A trailing point done like that is awesome. Problem is a lot of them are done where the trailing point goes up so high, in order to get to the tip, you have to lift your fucking elbow like super high. Do you know any info that shows his working edge or fine edges are better with a list of steels? Hold on a second. Let me Do you know of any info that shows is working edges or fine edges are better with a list of steels? No, I do not. I do have a video. You want to catch the most recent one though, because the first one I made, I did um make some mistakes and I redid it because I had changed my opinion on a couple steels after dealing with them hundreds of times. But I do have a video talking about what's the best edge for each steel. So I go through just about every single steel and I talk about should you put a medium grit, and I talk about like a 600 grit, 1200 grit, or a mirror polish, and I talk about what would be the best for that steel, what steels can take both, what's and vice versa. So you can check that video out, but I don't know of anyone or any video that literally talks about the fine edge to working edge aside from actual cut tests. So I got the information one from Outpost 76's cut test, and then two, my own. So I heard it first from Outpost 76 when he was talking about it before I had ever dealt with the steels. Like I had never even tried any of the steels. But then after I got the steels, I started realizing everything he was talking about. And, I was getting basically the same results. And it made me realize like, and then that's when I started realizing that, oh man, some steels. It's weird because we never think of steels this deep to where you start thinking about what type of edge should you put on it, what type of grit should you put on it, what's it going to hold the best. You think about just the longevity of edge retention, but you don't think about, well, how fragile is it? Does it microchip? How well does it do at low angles? Should you do a convex edge? Like all these little tiny details with each steel and what would be the best for each thing. But every steel was made for a purpose, right? It's kind of like M390. M390, you guys know where M390 was designed for? I'm sure somebody can mention it right now. The plastics industry. So M390 was originally made to cut plastic. So it actually does really well cutting plastic because it was designed for that. But it wasn't made to be heat treated in massive large production batches, and that's why it can be a little inconsistent when it comes to production knives. My only knife is a zero tolerance 0450. I had an 0450. I probably still have it somewhere. I don't know where the fuck it's at, but that's a knife that I was so in love with for so long, and it was the biggest letdown I ever got. I'll tell you why in a second. Love it for EDC, but want something different. I'm interested in the Tonto shaped blade, and I love the look of Damascus. What company should I look at? If you want Damascus, go to Civivi or Concept. Civivi or Concept does a really good job with their Damascus. I would pick Civivi first, and they have Tontos and stuff like that. As far as just regular Tontos go, depending on what you're wanting, Cold Steel's got some really good Tontos. Depends on the size of your knife you want and the type of lock you want, but I would go towards either Civivi, Concept, or Cold Steel. Or you know what, you could also go with the Mad Tonto. This is a dope ass Tonto right here. You can get this down in the description at Blade HQ or the Neeves Knives store. Just type in Kaiser Mad Tonto and it'll pop up at Blade HQ down in the description. But the reason why my ZT was horrible was because that was some of the worst heat treated S35 I've ever experienced. That was my first time. Maybe not my first time. It wasn't my first time. It was like my 10th time experiencing a bad heat treatment. And I didn't know, because I had just really learned how to sharpen and, I hadn't dealt with thousands of steels. So I was trying to sharpen it and I just could not get it sharp for the life of me. And I found out, like a year later, like, oh, the reason why was because it's fucking soft as shit. Like it literally, the steel is so soft that it's nearly impossible to get an edge on it. But when you finally get an edge on it, and you finally get a nice crispy edge, it's almost like it's gone again because it doesn't have the edge stability to hold a true apex that's nice and clean. And I'm not saying yours is like that. That was just mine. And and then I found out I wasn't the only one, that there was a ton of people, like a lot. Like I heard like their first few batches were all like smoked. So they did wind up fixing it later on. And so the newer ones were a lot better, which is probably what you have, but mine was absolute garbage. And I loved the knife. I loved how snappy it was. And then the next thing is the geometry does not match the knife. So it has super thick geometry for a small, lightweight knife. That not saying it's a lightweight knife, as in it's weak, but just that it has way too thick of a grind for how small the handle is. That knife should have a hollow grind on it. Hey, Jared, what are your thoughts on the Tor Knives Merchant 2.0 and the new arc form theory? So I got to try the arc form. If you want to see, I'm pretty sure it was the theory. Let me just look it up really quick. But I got I got a video on it. So if you go, man, if you go to my videos from Blade Show, you will see it. Yes, yes. So I got to try it. Is that the right one? No, wait. Oh, yes, yes, I did. I did get to try that one. So you have to find the video. It's from one of my Blade Show videos. I got like 4 videos from Blade Show Atlanta, and it's in one of those. I go to the table and I check it out. It's really sweet. It's very smooth. The thumb disc worked really well. It was very snappy. It had nice texturing on it. And yeah, I did like it. I pretty much have liked everything from Arcform so far. I've never owned one. I don't even think I've ever had a review on any, but I've tested them out like at Blade Show. And not tested, but I experienced them. I love a good trailing point. I like the feel. I like them if they're done a certain way, but I'm not a big fan for EDC. Like if it's for self-defense slash EDC, then that's cool. But I prefer trailing point for like hunting and things like that. That knife is bad ace. It's one of the Brian's original custom models. Oh, is it? Is that what that is? Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. Um, I'm trying to scroll by. I see I'm really backed up, so I'm going to zoom forward. So if you guys said something and I didn't see it and you guys want me to see it, please just leave the comment again. No hard feelings. I'm backed up, so I'm trying to catch up. I got my ZT about 2 years ago and have been learning to sharpen on it. So far, I've been pretty good on it. I just want something to upgrade. Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. And you shouldn't have one knife. Nobody should have one knife. And the reason why is because your knife's always going to wind up going dull. You're always going to have one that's dull and you got to maintenance it or whatever. So you should have like five knives at least, because there's different situations too, right? You're not going to bring, like, say, your ZTO 450 out in the field to chop wood, right? So you're going to have a different knife for that, or like, say, a self-defense knife, or maybe a gent knife. You could use that for a gent knife actually, but if you're just looking for basic EDC knives, there are so many knives that you can get, and you don't even have to spend a lot of money. Like, I mean, just something like this Sweetie Cubit, $65, 14C aluminum handles, button lock action, so it's super fidgety. This thing is badass. But there's so many knives out there that you could get, to build up a nice little collection so that you're not just limited to one knife. So, and the knives that are being made today are like 10 years ago would be quadruple the money. Like, I know prices are going up on knives, but our quality has went through the roof. Like, then some of the Sen cut models is like the same quality that Benchmade was doing 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And now you can get them for like $30, $40. So you'd be amazed at what you can get. Like, if you just have a couple $100, you can buy a few knives of really good quality, or you could just get one super solid knife. But like, even like the drop bears and like the escort, the Kaiser drop bear, Kaiser escort, they're like $100 right around there. And they're just as good as any Benchmade. I hate to say it like that, but they are. or Hogues or anything like they're arguable. Their crossbar locks are even better, to be honest. But that doesn't mean I'm not recommending Benchmade or Hogue or anything like that, because I do. I would probably recommend them the most if you have the money. If you have the money and you want to go USA, definitely go with Hogue or Spyderco. I actually just did a video on the the leading USA companies, and people were asking me like, what about Medford or what about Emerson? It's like, yeah, those are great USA companies, and of course I love them. Of course, you know, I think they're some of the best, but they're not the leading USA, right? When you say leading, that's going to speak to like the most people, right? Who do the most people carry? What is the best? What is the most recommended, right? If somebody said, I want to buy a USA made knife, you're not fucking running out and screaming Medford, right? Not that Medford isn't great. It's just not a lot of people are going to spend $650 on a knife, right? You're most likely going to say Spyderco, Hogue, Benchmade, something like that. So that's where I was kind of going with that video, was like, what is the leading USA company? What is the most recommended company that you could tell somebody for a USA, brand? If you could choose between the Mettenboss scales and either copper or zirconium for a shaman, which would you choose and why? Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd pick either one, zirconium or copper. They're both heavy as shit. Um, let's see. What is Mettenboss scales? What does that mean? It's the brand. Man, I don't know. I if you can go zirconia and maybe that, I don't know if I just go pure zirconium. So zirconium is usually slick and very fingerprinty. So probably I don't know. I'd go with zirconia or something if you can, but otherwise probably I don't know. Copper has a scent. Zirconium has its fingerprinty, so it's like it's kind of tough, you know. You kind of have to just like choose which battle you'd rather have. Have you been able to check out the new Kunwu Chad and Hasab PM60? No, I have not yet, but they'll probably send it to me. Let me just see it really quick. So no, oh yeah, I did get to try this for like 10 minutes like a while back, but not this exact one, not the one with the PM60, but the old one. Um, but I don't have one, and I don't even know if I did a video on it or not. I probably did, but it's probably brief. If only TRMs were more available. Well, they're available like weekly or like every 2 weeks or something like that. So they have like drops. So all you need to do is get on the email list or just go to their site every day. If you talk to some of the people in the chat, they'll tell you when they drop. I forget what days it is, but it's like once a week they drop some. And it's just they sell really quick. So you got to be on the email list. Hey, Jared, have you tried Tor Knives Merchant 2.0? I have tried Tor Knives. Let me see if I've tried that one. Tor. Oh, yeah. So my thing with this knife, the 2.0, and let me show you guys so we all know what we're talking about here. So the reason why I like the knife was good. It was really good. I think I even have a video on it, but the problem I have with it is a thick blade, man. It's almost too thick for the knife. The geometry is super robust. So, and it's a frame lock knife. Not that frame locks aren't tough, not that it's not tough. It's a great knife, super solid, but the problem I had with it is the geometry is just way too thick. And then I think also the clip really bothered me in the hand. That might not be the same for you, but yeah, it was a good knife, solid knife, but it's just not something I would personally buy because of the geometry, unless if I could put like a hollow grind on there, because you can get them reground. That's what I would want to do with it. It's just I'm like I have knives that have super thick geometry, right? But there's a level, right? And there has to be the stop pin, the lock, all have to balance. Like say if I pull up my Emerson right now, right? This is a super tough liner lock. Like I know it's just a liner lock, but this liner lock is made to break before it fails. So this is a very robust lock. So it having very thick geometry, I'm not worried about it. It's cool. It's kind of like a multi-tool, something you pick and pry at things. You know, you actually use it like a pry bar. Like, it is like that. But if it's a knife like that, like, I'm not using it like a pry bar. So why do I want a blade that thick? Like, and then also the next thing is, if you have a thick blade, your ergonomics better be hand melting. That's the way I look at it. Like a Benchmade Griptilian, that has thick geometry, but you ever felt the Benchmade Griptilian? Like, they're called the Griptilian for a reason. They're so damn comfortable in the grip. So it's understandable because you can push it through things. But if you have an uncomfortable grip, that just doesn't make sense, because now you have a shitty grip on a knife that you're going to have to struggle to push through things. So I look at those little details, right? How strong is the lock? What's the stop pin look like? What's the ergos comparable to the geometry? And they have to just work together. You can have a knife with super thin geometry and great ergonomics with a big stop pin and a strong lock, but you can't have a weak lock with shitty ergonomics with a thick grind. You can't have that, right? It only goes one way, not the other. Also, Medford jumps out a lot in price. Their most affordable is about 350. The next model up usually starts around 600. Yes, exactly. You like to do something TS-138 Dracula, Jared? Hope VOSTEED makes a full-size nightshade with a crossbar lock. And don't forget Bad Boss Stories. Oh yeah, Bad Boss Stories. Didn't I do that the last time? No? Yeah, I did. I did do that one. We did that last live, didn't we? Or was the one before? I did Dracula. I can't remember the Dracula, but I have a Tucson right next to me that we can talk about. Let me see this one. Tucson TS, what was it? 138. Oh, yeah, I've had these. I got videos on that one. That's an old one. I had a couple of those. It's dope. The thumb studs, I took mine off because it was better with just the hole, but the thumb studs are cool too. Um, it's it's a good knife. It's a solid knife. You're getting it's a great price usually. But you know, there is like little things that could be improved to make it better and more how do I say it? More refined. But it's a great knife. It's just it's been out for a while. Hey Jared, have you tried to I already said that. All right. Let me catch up. I'm thinking about buying a TRM Atom texture tie on the next drop. Would it be worth it? I think so. I think that, like, when you look at TRM's knives, right? They're titanium knife. It's like $150 less than Benchmade's new Narrows. And that's a small company, better heat treatment. And, you know, it's a given. Yeah, fuck yeah, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And TRM does a really good job. They're awesome. And you can always get in contact with them. If you have any issue at all, it's so easy to contact them. Benchmade is the same way. Don't get me wrong. Benchmade is really cool too. Got myself a Demco 20.5 with S35 a week ago, and it already has stain dots on it. Would not say I live in a humid area, although I did notice it if it already had it. So give it a good scrubbing, scrub it off, and then soak that bitch in oil for 5 minutes. Like, just like coat it with oil, let it sit for 5 minutes and wipe it dry. And another 3 to 4 weeks, do it again. Another 3 to 4 weeks, do it again. And then it should be good for a long time. But you know, every few months, come back to it and oil it. It probably will probably happen is one of two things. Either one, you cut something that was acidic and the acidity of a lemon or something got on there. Meat is another one that's acidic, and it probably is patinaing. So you want to bite it in the ass now, get rid of it. So give it a good scrubbing, and then coat it with some oil, and it should fix it. I'm thinking about buying. Oh, I already read that one. What would you suggest as the best sharpener for a novice home cook? I saw your Tumblr comparison. Yeah, if you're a cook, then and you're just doing chef knives, then yes, I would recommend that the Horrell, not the Tumbler. Get the Horrell. I actually have the other Horrell, the really expensive one. Um, I wouldn't recommend it over the medium one. But they are expensive, but for a chef, for a chef, somebody who's sharpening kitchen knives, it is so worth it. It's really good. So you're going to be able to get all your knives sharp in a few minutes. So it's very easy to use. And it's fast. Now, if you're doing more than chef knives, because that's only for chef knives, you can't use that system on anything else, only chef knives. So if you're doing fixed blades and camping knives and folding knives, and I would recommend like a KME, a work sharp professional sharpening system, that new one that I just did a full review on, or a TS Prof if you got the money. The money is what's the big most important thing, because they're all different prices. You go from $200 to $300 to like $400-500. So it depends on how much money you want to spend. You know, if you're willing to spend a couple $100 and that's it, get the KME. But you know, it's not going to be the best for big chef knives, right? In that case, you're probably going to want a TS Prof. Or even the workshop. The workshop can do them, but you know, it's not going to be as fast as the TS Prof because of the way just it operates. But if you're only doing chef knives, man, that Horrell 2 is the way to go. The Horrell 2 works fantastic. Like I could literally sharpen up a knife right now, like in like 2 minutes, not even. As long as there's not a lot of damage. If there's a lot of damage, obviously it takes longer, right? That goes with anything. What's the point? Says, I love the budget version of the Kubi Tidius. I know time 14C28N. Tidius is going to be awesome. It is, man. It's really awesome. The budget knife is already awesome. So, you know, it with titanium, and it's contoured titanium too. So it's not the flat titanium scales. It's contoured. It has micro milling. Fucking awesome. They did a good job on it. Really good job. Super smooth too. Who the maker of that little fixie called Chickadee, if you don't mind me saying? You're talking about Tops? Isn't that Tops? Am I wrong about that? What I love about Spyderco is they use so many different steels, some of which are amazing and super rare and exotic, like Maximat. Yeah, I do too. Well, at least as far as right now goes, you're not going to find another company that uses more steels than them. And then on top of it, the best part about it is you're never going to find a company that uses as much steel as them and does it well. Like you'll find these fly by night companies using these steels doing it dog shit stuff. They don't know how to grind it. They don't know how to heat treat it well. You get burnt edges. The steel, some of them are good, some of them are bad. But with Spyderco, you're getting top of the line heat treatments for the most part, and an array of steels. So yeah, I you got to give them respect for that, man. You got to, because like to some extent, it is a little, how can I say it? I'm not gonna say challenging, but you got to have balls to do that, right? Because they always risk, like when they're dealing with a new steel and things like that, they obviously have to test it out and go through all the bullshit to get it out there. So, you know, it takes balls to do steels like what 110V, Maximat, Rex 121, Rex 45, like to do those steels. What other fucking company are doing those steels, right? None, literally none. I'm a fidgeter and I like big knives. So Shaman, big fidgeter. Shaman's a great one. So is the XL Manix too. That's really good. Trevor says, have you seen cages used as washers? In other words, bearing cages without the bearings in them? No, I have not. Sounds like they fell out. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like they fell out. But I have had bearings that I took out and they had half the bearings missing. I've had that happen. What do you think about the Spidey Chef being $200 off right now on Blade HQ? $200 off? What? If that's true, we need to link that shit right now. Hold on a second. Don't be messing with me. Let's see this. Spidey Chef is $282 normal price right now on Blade HQ. So I don't know. $282 from what I see. That's about the normal price. It's a good knife though. Super solid knife. Um, philosophy quotes that you can think will impress the roaster. He loves that shit. Oh, it's funny. Hey, Jared, have you tried any Herman knives? I have, and they are freaking amazing. They're so awesome. They have such a unique sound. I could hear one right now and know it's a Herman. That's how they are. Like I've tried probably 4 or 5 of them, and maybe more, because I've had a ton of them in for sharpening. So when they deploy, when you open them, they have that shunk sound. It's so cool, and I'll never get it out of my head. So it's a knife that literally, if right now, if somebody had it next to me and opened it, I would be like, that's a Herman. That's a Herman. Hands down, that's a Herman. You know what else? Some of the South African knives are like that too, where they have that very unique style of action and sound. We just got a Herman Slim, traded a Norseman. Nice. Very cool. Oh yeah, one of these days, I'll get a Herman. One of these days, I'd like to get a Norseman too. Great size, and I'm sure the ergos are on point. You know what is discontinued? The Sprint Rhino Jumbo at Knives Plus S90V and carbon farb. Just opened up a Kaiser shard and no balls in the cage. No wonder the action sucks. Yeah, that sucks, Trevor. Yeah, call them up, contact them, tell them that this is unacceptable. I might have a set of bearings if you need them. Just get a hold of me on. It'll take me a few days to get them to you. Next time we ship, though, just get a hold of me on Instagram or something. You know what it? I already read that. He says I had so many issues with my Spidey Chef. I wish they would put a damn lock bar. So I agree with that. Said mine will slip if I spine whack, it'll slip. But the way I look at it is 2 things. One, that's not a tough knife. That's not a hard knife. That's an EDC knife. So, and I'm not giving it excuses. I'm not giving excuses. I already said my lock slips, so I can fail it. But it doesn't really bother me because as long as my hand's around it, it's not going to do that. But it's if I hold it like in a pinch grip and I spine whacked it, then it would do it. But so yeah, I wish it had a steel lock bar insert as well. But you know what's crazy is that my slish buoy is not like that. My slish buoy is a fucking vault. It is like a tank. And a lot of my steel or titanium frame locks with no lock bar insert or like that, they're like absolute tanks. They're absolute vaults. I have many of them, but that one right there, that one definitely, the lock face geometry is a little on it. It's still a great knife though. I still love it. I just don't think, it's obviously not built for that. I bought 2 Kaiser Mini Octobers, one green and one black. My car trade me a knife for one. I've already got myself one. I've had a couple of them. We got quotes going up. Quotes. Guys are quoting. Hey, Jared, just scored a Cybertruck's B knife. Very clean action. Hell yeah. Jared, have you tried the Spartan Blades Palace? I have tried it, but it was briefly. I don't really even remember it, but yeah, I did get to try it briefly. That's the button lock one, right? I got to try it at Blade Show, I think. Let me just look really quick. Yeah, the button lock one. Yeah, the one I tried at Blade Show was really sweet. So the thing is, though, is that I remember watching videos and people saying how light the detent was. The one I tried at Blade Show, the detent was fucking great. So maybe the new ones are better because it was a new one. I don't know, but all the reason why I never bought one was because every video I seen, like literally every single one I seen, the number one complaint was the detent was light. But then the one I tried at Blade Show was so good. I was like, why haven't I bought one of these? So I don't know. If you got one, let me know. How's your detent? I honestly don't care if it's USA made at all. Shoot, my watch is a Casio. Isn't Casio Japanese movement though? Or no, maybe it is Chinese. Just got a React karambit and almost stabbed my hand. That'll happen. That will happen with them karambits. Hey, Jared, when we talked about crossbar locks, let's not leave out the Predator. That's true. Such a beast knife, one of the best of the year. I 100% agree. And for the price, I think it's 65, 70 bucks, 14C, great micarta, great ergo, super strong lock, great detent, great blade shape, great ergonomics, great clip, literally fucking top-notch knife all the way around. And it has one of the best sharpening plunge grinds you can ever ask for on a knife. Like it's just like a Sabenza's. You know, if you guys know, a Sabenza 21 or 31s, they're the plunge grind is almost behind the scales. It's so far up. Like you have all the life in the world to sharpen off. That's how the Predator is, the CMB made knives Predator. I need to bust that thing out. We need to do a video on that thing again. That is a badass knife. Probably one of the best work knives you can get. As far as for the price, under $100. What about the Demco's drop today? They all sold really quick. That titanium one doesn't look like the OG polished one. Looks flat. I didn't get one, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I didn't get one either. And just so you guys know, it is Prime sale on Amazon for the next couple more hours. So if you guys want to, you guys can go in the description. And the Neeves Knife Store is an Amazon affiliate link if you guys want to get anything from Amazon. There I seen a bunch of cold steels and stuff. There was some pretty cool ones, but I didn't see a lot of deals. I mean, I seen some deals. There were some. Let me pull this up. Oh, Todd, thank you, man. Well, first off, Scott N, thank you. He's been a member for 4 months. Happy Wednesday to you. And Brad Lennox gifted 10 memberships. Shout out to Brad Lennox, man. Thank you, dude. You are so awesome, man. Thank you for the 10 memberships. I can't thank you enough, man. That is so awesome. Hell yeah. We love those. We love some new members. So you can see here, we got the AD10 for 100 bones. You got the AD10 with a Tonto lightweight for 88 bones. There was another one. You know what? There was a Tonto in here, man. I almost bought it earlier. I can't remember what knife it was. What one was it? It wasn't the Code 4. Oh, I think it was it the Recon 1? Does this one come in? So I love this style Tonto. This is like the best style Tonto in my opinion. It has a nice deep hollow grind, a very pronounced secondary tip, and the primary tip drops down a little bit. That's badass. Like that's a fucking Tonto right there. I love that. Now I think they have it. Yeah, they do have it in a spear point as well. So if I was gonna have to pick between these, I would probably pick the Tonto just because I love that Tonto so much. But the spear point is going to be the most versatile and most useful out of all of them. But yeah, I seen some earlier. I'm not sure if some of the sales are already ending. They're not supposed to end until midnight. Code Steel Voyager for 64. Voyager with the crisp blade, 82 bones. They had some other stuff. I'm not seeing the deals I seen earlier though. They're just not popping up. The format, they had the Formax for under $100 for the lightweight one. Extra large drop point Voyager, 65 bones. Hell yeah, look at that thing. 12 and a quarter inches. That's badass. That's a great deal too. But anyways, I do have the Tucson TS 380 here, 14C28N, and it's a thick boy. So this to me is a great example of like a tough knife, right? A tough frame lock because it has very thick titanium scales, thick blade, good stop pin, internal stop pin, so rock solid lockup, ball bearing action. And the next thing, because it does have, even though it cuts really good, don't get me wrong, it cuts really good, but it gets thin behind the edge, but the actual grind is robust. But look what they did. They put amazing ergonomics on this. So to push this thing through something, it's great. And then it has a nice stout tip. So if you're wanting to pick and pry at things, this is a great choice. And it's got a tough steel. So you got one of the toughest steels on the planet, especially for a stainless. And it's very corrosion resistant as well. This one's sharpened up really, really good. The Tucson TS 380. What a solid knife, man. Such a good knife. The clip even works good. Next one I got right here. This thing will be being released very soon. very soon. They have a sheep's foot version coming. I have one on the way. The VOSTEED Mayhem. So what's cool about the VOSTEED Mayhem, this thing's got stupid action, man. I mean, like really good action. Like, and you look at it as like, oh, it's a button lock, right? It's gonna have button lock action. Well, it's not just button lock action because it is a liner lock. It's just like the SMOKEY. So if you look, see, it's a liner. So it's very strong. It's super solid, and then it offers you a fantastic detent, just like you'd expect from like a frame lock knife or a liner lock knife. Super solid detent, like great detent. Like look at how low that flipper tab is, and it's still great, fantastic. And then when you push the button, this thing just drops. Look at that. It's like that. But they have a sheep's foot version. This one is the Wardenclyffe. So they're going to have different versions of the Wardenclyffe and different versions of the sheep's foot. They're going to be basically the same thing, though. So they're going to work the same. I'm not a big fan of this dual grind. It just doesn't make sense. I know it's just a design thing. It's not even supposed to be very functional or nothing, but it just doesn't make sense. Why would you want it thicker back here by the choil? Because now when I sharpen this, say if I put this at 15 degrees per side, this is going to have a massive bevel. Well, this is going to be a small bevel. Because the thicker the grind, the bigger the bevel. Found the link for the Predator for 52 bones on KnifeWorks. Is it the D2 version though? Because they have the D2 version that was 50 bucks. So the D2 version for the CMB Predator was 50 bucks, and then the 14C was like 70. Jared, do button locks and Spyderco compression lock work in a relatively similar manner? No. So this one does. As far it just depends on what button lock. So with most button locks, it's a spring. It's literally a spring, like the spring you'd pull out of a pen, you know, with a button or with a plunge. So they have a plunge with a spring attached, and the spring pushes the plunge into a groove onto the blade. That's how most button locks are. So if you look at here, you'll see the plunge. I'm going to push it in and out. That's the plunge. So inside right here is a spring. So the spring is pushing that this way. So everything's backwards right now. Sorry, guys. It's pushing it this way. So when you push it, you're pushing against the spring, letting the blade fall. But other ones like the Mayhem, yes, it's like the compression lock, basically. The one difference is, oh no, it's just like it. It even drops in just like a compression lock, right in behind the stop pin. Because the way a compression lock goes, the reason why it's different than a liner lock, because some people would say the compression lock is just a reverse liner lock. No, it's not. Because a compression lock, the liner falls in between the stop pin and the blade, and the tang of the blade. There's a groove cut out in the tang of the blade, and the stop pin's there, and it falls in right in between there. So the pressure is being applied to the stop pin and the blade. With a regular liner lock, there's only pressure on the liner and the blade. Hey, Jared, why does everything Reich touches are spot on? Why don't others follow their lead? So I would say that's for the most part, but I have seen a couple things that are meh from them. Most things that they're really good on. I do think what they don't want to do is try to get ahead of themselves, because they have the ability to do amazing, amazing work. But I have seen, and I'm not saying any examples, but I've seen a couple examples where it felt like they were cutting some corners compared to what they could possibly do. Now, of course, you could argue like, yeah, they're putting more work into these ones, and that's why they cost more, and they're putting a little bit less work into these ones, but they're still really good. And I would say, yeah, that's true. But, you know, when you feel an expectation, you expect them to uphold that. And yes, I do think they do a really good job, and I would love to see them do more and more OEM work. But I just don't want them to get overwhelmed and start cutting corners, because we've seen it a million times. Every one of us have seen, well, most of us have seen it, where a company starts getting a little in over their head. It starts doing more shit and more shit, and more shit. And now they're cutting corners just to stay, you know, afloat. The detent on your palace is amazing. And also, you coming to Blade Show West. I'm not coming to Blade Show West. I wish I could. But no, I'll probably be in Texas next year. Otherwise, I'll be in Atlanta next year. But there's no way I can make it to West. I went to Texas, and man, this thing sounds cool. I went to Texas and Atlanta this year, so I want to, but you know, it's just tough. And what angle would you put on a baby banter? If you want, so a baby banter is not tough. So you can go with a low angle. If you want it really, really slicey, I would go 17 degrees per side. 17 degrees per side will keep it relatively tough, very slicey. If you want it to be a little bit tougher, a little less slicey, go 20 degrees. I don't even know what that is. Uh Makers Syndicate. I don't even know what that is. I'm out of the loop. I haven't even been invited to shit like that. So um they must not like me. You're going to Westview? Damn it, it sounds like everybody's going to West now. The one time I don't go, everybody's going. What's up, Boo? Andrew says, hey, Jared, what do you think is the best big folder for under 150 bones, 4 to 5 inch blade? Cold steel. Cold steel every time. Depends on what you want, though. Because if you want a hard use big folder, which usually with a big folder, that's what you're going to want, then I would go cold steel. You know, the Voyager is a good one. I mean, you could go with the Espada, the Voyager. I love the 4MAX. The 4MAX is badass. I got one right here. And I think you can get this for like less than $100 right now. These things are dope. This thing is a beast, man. This is like an apocalypse knife. But yeah, I would recommend cold steel every time when it comes to stuff like that. Especially if you're wanting something tough. I'm going to spend my entire wallet at West. I can't handle all the knives. I know I'm going to spend too much money. Man, my wallet can't handle it. You know what? Take a couple laps first. When you get there, don't get there and then grab something and buy it. That's the worst thing you can do. Unless if you plan, like if you have a plan, like, okay, when I get there, I'm gonna buy a Rosie or I'm gonna buy a Koenig. Okay, do that. But with the other things, walk around, because what's going to happen is you'll see one, oh, it's $600 here, and then you'll walk over there and it'll be 500. Or you'll see this knife and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to get it, and then you'll walk over there and you'll be like, damn it, why did I buy that? Now I want this. I'd rather have this and it's more affordable, but I don't have the money. So just know that's going to happen, and it's going to happen. So you ever checked out anything designed by Mikkel Williamson, if I spelled it right? Yeah, I've had a couple of their knives. I did have a video from them from Blade Show, so you can watch that from Blade Show Atlanta. And then I've had their Red E knives on the channel a couple times. I live just outside SLC now, so Blade West is a really easy drive, and I can sleep in my own bed. Lucky you. Yeah, we don't have anything near Chicago as far as Blade Show, do we? I wish we had one in Chicago. That would be badass. Actually, guess who I'm meeting up with tomorrow? I'm meeting up with someone tomorrow. You guys might know him. Justin from OCD for EDC. Me and him are hooking up. He's going to be in my neck of the woods tomorrow. Tonight, I think, actually. I think he's in Illinois now. So he should already be getting close to Chicago, but we're going to kick it tomorrow and possibly on Friday. So that should be fun. Oh, Jared, what was that cold steel you just held up? Yeah, the 4MAX Scout. 4MAX Scout. This thing is an absolute. If you get this knife, this is going to be like your most hardest use knife you've ever can have. Like, this is a knife you can chop with, you can baton with it, you can fucking throw it. It's a tough son of a bitch. Now, all the cold steel knives with the triad locks are tough sons of bitches, but this just has like, because some of them are bigger and some of them are slimmer, some of them are this, some are this, some are that, but this is just fucking, it's it. This is it. You feel like you want to start hacking limbs off, you know. Not saying that you won't with the Espada and the Voyager, because you will. You absolutely will. Anybody in the comments know if any knife under 150 to 4 to 5 inch blade, but not cold steel? You can go with if you really want 4 to 5 inch blade, Dagger. Dagger, here, I'll just pull it up really quick. Dagger's got some shit if you're wanting something like that. Now they're not for everybody. They're more self-defense oriented knives, but they are folding knives. They have all different kinds. But right here, Dagger, these guys have some really big knives. Like this one right here, this is a 4.75-inch blade. I have one of these. So this is a button lock. And you can see, and it's a liner lock button lock, kind of like we were just talking about. So better than a spring liner. You can see it's got a flipper. That's a big knife. That's a big freaking knife. They have another one. This thing's huge. But let me find it. The Nestor, same thing basically. This thing right here, the Voron, this is a big son of a bitch, 5.2-inch blade. But that one I would avoid over the other one though. I would take the other one over that one personally. But yeah, the Parrot button lock though, that one's probably this one's dope. The Parrot. I really like the Parrot. I do have one other one I'm trying to find in here. The Sparrow. It's not as big as the Parrot, I don't think. But anyways, that's another one for that big of a knife. But for that money, when you start getting to that size, like there are some cheap knives you can get, but then there's some really expensive ones. Like the ones that are going to be the best are going to be more expensive for that size knives, like Max Aces and stuff. But there's still some really good stuff that's long. Like even like if you talk about the Spyderco the military, the Spyderco military. That's a badass knife. Let me pull it up. I'm sure there's probably one here. Remember, I have all these linked down in the description. Just go to, how long is it? 4-inch blade. So here you go. 4-inch blade. It's 231 bucks though. So it's it's out of your price range. Let's see if we can find, I found one for 196. 196 is the cheapest I've seen for the military, but the military is a badass knife. Everything's linked down in the description. If you want to, if you just go, if you really want to see, this is how you do it. You just go over here and go to 4 to 5-inch blade with the price tag 100 to 250 bucks. Oh no, you said, how much did you say? You say 100, 250? I don't remember now. Well, I have it typed in for 100, 250, so that's what we're gonna go with. So right here is 4 to 5-inch blades. Well, damn it, I thought I had it. No, that's Spyderco military. 4 to 5-inch blades. How do I get it to go? Yeah, right here. Here we go. But I don't want just Spyderco. Why is it just Spyderco? I want any knife. Knives. Let's just go to knives. And then 1 to 250. And where is here it is. 4 to 5-inch blade. Here we go. So you got the Spyderco Yo Jumbo. That's a really good one. You got the Sheepdog XL, another good one. Spyderco Military, like I said, really good one. The Beyond EDC one, that's dope. That's really dope, actually. Cold Steels, you said you don't want Cold Steels. The Civilian's badass. That's a dope knife. I got one of those. I don't think is this 4 inches? Oh yeah, 4-inch blade, the Hogue. There you go. But that's I think you said 150 to 200 or something. I forget what you said. But yeah, man, just go to Blade HQ and put in those numbers and you'll be able to find it. Hopefully you guys could see everything I just showed. All right, let's get to, thank you, Todd. Yes, there is the link. I just ordered that Cold Steel Raha. Damn, it's like a Danny Trejo machete. Trejo. Corvette XL. Yep, Corvette XL. That's like I have one up there. That's a knife that you have to like the style of it. Hi Jared, what's up? Neeves Knives has been putting out great videos recently. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I truly, truly appreciate that. I do my best, and we got some really good videos coming soon too. Some really good shit. We got a lot of shit coming up. Obviously, I have stuff that I have to get out, you know, like first impressions and stuff. But aside from that, we got some great content moving forward. I'm still celebrating getting my first Shaman and in 15V and that Para 2 S90V on Monday. Sounds like it's been a great week for you. Very cool. You know, that's some awesome knives right there. That's definitely something to be proud of for sure. I agree. Dave, I 100% agree. I wish that's the one thing that I wish the most from the knife community is that Spyderco would take that ball lock and put it on their Gail Bradley and put it on just new designs. Like, man, they could do so much with that. I love the ball lock. Oh shit. I agree. Jared has put out some good content lately. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Jared, love the Actors Collector. Notice he got both bag knives. Yes, he did. He, yeah, he's got a dope collection, man. Actually, you know what? You guys didn't even see it all. I had to cut some out because otherwise it was like an hour-long video. You guys seen the majority of it, but there was like 4 or 5 maybe or something like that that I did get cut. But yeah, he's got a badass collection. But yeah, just you know, it's tough uploading an hour-long video. Like, don't get me wrong. The way I looked at it with that video was however long it's going to be, that's how long it's going to be. But I still had to trim off the fat, you know, a little bit because I had a lot that I needed in there. So I bet yes, they are, Vu. Yes, they are. Right now, we see them swarming in for this compression lock, and I don't blame them. I would be doing it. Any Spidey's worth buying for the Spyderco sales going on? Spyderco Manix 2. If this oh wait, no, because I don't think the Manix 2 is up for sale, but the Jumbo is. That's a good one. The Para 2 crew wear, I think is. The Para 3 lightweight's like $120 right now. So yeah, there's a lot of great ones. Just depends on the size knife you want. Well, is there a table I should go to first, Hinder or Chris Reeve or Koenig? Hinder will have everything there for a while. They usually don't sell out right away. So you don't have to rush to there. Chris Reeve, you don't have to rush to there. Koenig is the one you're gonna have to rush to because there's gonna be a line out of there. It's not letting you send super chats, telling me to edit and try again. So that means you're saying something that they don't like. I didn't write the list. Listen, I don't care what you say, but YouTube has their things, their whatever, and there's certain things that they won't allow you to say. So whatever you're trying to say, they don't like. I don't know what it is. It could be something like they do the same thing to me. So should be soon, Deacon. I don't know the exact date. I haven't spoke with them about the exact date, but it's sitting in the coming soon. So, but yeah, I'm sorry that that's happening, Shepard. If you want to, you can PayPal it and I'll read it. You can send me a note on PayPal. It's linked in the bottom of the description. Hey, love that video visiting your boy and looking at his collection too. Me, I could watch that for 2 hours. That's awesome, man. And I love hearing that. And that's the type of content I want to be able to provide, the type of content that you guys don't care how long it is. Maybe it does run a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but at least it's packed with entertainment and information. And that's the type of videos I'm trying to do. That's why I was saying weeks ago, like I'm literally just practicing and practicing with my, because I have this new editing app that's been a fucking journey to learn. So I'm sitting here learning it because they have so many videos that I want to do that I just couldn't do because I did not want to do them and not be able to do them justice. Do you know what I mean? It's like I could do them, but then they're just not going to be the way I want. So I'm getting closer and closer to being able to provide the content I want. Brad Lennox with the 5 bones. Thank you, brother. Could be you're using more characters than allowed. Jared made a larger PP contribution to avoid the YouTube tax. Thank you for the 5 bones. Yeah, you could be writing too many letters. There could be a few different things that could be the issue. Jared, I'll never use those steel honing rods that came with the kitchen knives on my good steel again. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Good for you. And I'm making a full video on that. I've had so many arguments about this. I'm talking about fucking beef. People are so hung on to using metal honing rods because they just don't understand. And I can't blame them. I can't blame somebody who's used a metal honing rod for 30 years to understand why they suck when they use them, right? But just because it's kind of like be arguing for the rotary phone when somebody's trying to say, hey man, there's smartphones out there, bro. And you're sitting there arguing, nope, I only want a rotary phone, But if they knew, they wouldn't argue with it. But that's why it's up to me, and it's my duty to make a full-length video with all the information detailed to the point to where I answer any question or any argument or any debate that they've given me so far, because I've heard the same 10 things 10,000 times, and I can't keep answering the same 10 things 10,000 times. It sucks. Diamond or ceramic for honing, diamond for sharpening. You should have a diamond rod and a ceramic rod, but a ceramic rod for the honing. So a ceramic rod is a multi-tool though. You can use it for multiple things, not just honing. You can use it to micro bevel, you can use it to deburr, you can use it to polish your edge, you can use it as a finishing stone, but it's a honing rod first. So let's talk about this fragrance. So Mr. Bones in the chat sent me a banger fragrance. So first off, I want to say when it first opened up, it wasn't my style. I knew right away, like, this isn't really my style. However, it has layers to it. So after a minute, the dry down, I started smelling it, and I just kept looking for it because it reminded me of something, and I realized now what it was. So you guys remember I kept screaming about the beard oil Bold Fortune. They don't make it no more, it's discontinued, but this is the best smelling beard oil I've ever experienced in my life. It's so fucking good. And the reason why I love this so much is because it is almost the exact same. There's a little bit of difference. There is some differences, and I'll explain it. Not that it matters because that's discontinued, but this is a banger fragrance, and it's Mancera Red Tobacco. It is a tobacco fragrance, and the tobacco comes off really strong at first. It's almost a little sparky at first. So when you first spray it on, you got that heavy, heavy tobacco. And it's almost a little too overpowering for a second, but that's okay. It's going to die down in about 10-15 minutes. It's going to go away. And what happens is this sweetness from I think it's vanilla, cinnamon, and something else comes through that mixes really well. It has like a fruitiness, and it's not a sweet fragrance, so don't take it like that. It's not. It's a very, very masculine fragrance. It is a spicy tobacco with a hint of sweet in the background. But I'm telling you, this is one that it grows on you, and it makes it to where, there we go right there. Chris Jones with the 2 bones. It grows on you quick as a motherfucker. It's so good. It is. It's really good. It's possibly my favorite tobacco fragrance today. I have a few tobacco fragrances. We're going to talk about 1 or 2 of them, but this stuff is a heavy, heavy hitter. Mancera Red Tobacco. Now, I have another Mancera fragrance we're going to talk about in a second. I just want to bring the note breakdown of this up because I want people to really understand how this is. And it's so good. It's so good. Like, I can't recommend it enough if you like masculine fragrances. Like, if you're not into, like, and it has a sweetness to it, but it's not something that you're going to notice right away. It takes like even like 20 minutes for, like, okay. So there's a saying, it's called the sillage. The sillage is like, somebody walks by and you smell them walk by. That's called the sillage. What you're smelling is the sillage coming off of them. So like if somebody's walking in front of you and they have a fragrance on, you can actually kind of pick up what's coming off of them. That's their sillage. So this has a sillage that's not like when you smell it. So when you smell it up close, it's not that it's off-putting, but it's a little sharp for the first like 20 minutes. But then that sharpness does go away. But what you get is, for the rest of the time, for 6-8 hours, you get this sillage of this very, very well mixed sweet vanilla, cinnamon, a little bit of oud with heavy tobacco. And the spiciness kind of dies down a little bit. The tobacco stays with it through and through all the way to the end, but mixed well with this little tiny bit of sweetness. And the oud is not a bad oud. So oud, some people like a lot of people wouldn't want to just wear an oud fragrance, right? Unless if you like oud fragrances, because it can be a little stenchy. But this is mixed perfectly well. And we got a member for 4 months. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Graken Nargiel, member for 4 months. He says Baccarat Rouge 540 is fire. I need to try that. I still haven't tried that. Chris Jones with another 2 bones. Thank you, brother. You like my blind man label? Where there's a will. Dude, I'm gonna send you back some because I got some really good ones to send you. So we're gonna talk about a couple really good ones. So Mancera, right? Mancera, I think I've raved about this enough. You guys got the gist of it. It's definitely a fragrance that right when you smell it, don't take that face value. Let it die down and then start getting that sillage. You're gonna see. Like it's like holy shit good. It starts becoming addictive. The difference between this and this is heavier on the sweet, lighter on the tobacco. This is heavier on the tobacco, lighter on the sweet, but they're very similar. And now you see, Jones, why I love this stuff so much. Now, my other Mancera fragrance I have is Cedric Boys. And this is another super masculine, really good fragrance. I'll bottle you some up of this and send it to you. It's very similar to Creativantis. So if you like Creativantis or if you like Club D&E, Intense Man, you'll love this. So this is a little bit, they're very similar. This one's a little bit more potent. This one lasts longer. The oils are better. And it's not sharper, but it's a little bit stronger. That's what it is. Just a little bit stronger, but super duper good. This is a very popular men's fragrance. Basically what it smells like is the $350 Creativantis, which is like one of the most popular men's fragrances. This is a really good one. These aren't cheap, but they're also not like Creativantis prices. But I can't recommend this one enough. Here, I'll pull up the thing on it so you guys can see it really quickly. The notes, though, it's kind of weird to read the notes on this one because it's not going to be what it looks like. It looks sweeter than it is. So it says woody, fruity, citrus, powdery. You can take away the fruity right there. So the fruity note that it's talking about is a fruity note that it is a fruity note. Don't get me wrong. It's a fruity note, but it's not a sweet feminine fruity note. It's a very masculine fruity note, like a pineapple plant instead of like a sweetness. It's like almost like plant-like. It's fucking banger. So this is a super masculine fragrance that most men love. Another one, I already showed you guys the Club D&E. That one's really good. We already talked about that one. 2 other ones. Well, I'm going to show you a couple other ones. Sauvage, banger fragrance for masculine men. My favorite is the Eau de Parfum, but you can get any one of them and they're good. But the Eau de Parfum is my favorite. Next would be the Sauvage Elixir. Now, the Sauvage Elixir is like, it's super peppery, So it's got a lot of spice, a lot of peppery with some sweetness. It's sweet and spicy mixed together. I think it's grapefruit and black pepper and some other spice. The regular Sauvage, the EDP, it's a just a super, I don't even know how you'd it's a blue fragrance, but a very masculine blue fragrance. It's super strong, lasts for fucking ever. It's like a 12-hour fragrance for sure. But one of the most popular men's fragrances, by the way, too. I think it is actually the most popular. So that's the only problem with it, is that more men are wearing this than any other fragrance because it's that good, but it's also, you know, other men might wear it. Another one that's really, really masculine and really, really good. This one has a little sweetness in it, though, is Azaro Wanted by Night. Azaro Wanted by Night. This one is spicy and it looks like a 6-shooter. Spicy and sweet. And it has a tobacco note. This is a tobacco fragrance as well. So this is it's not a super strong tobacco, but it definitely has a tobacco scent in there mixed with sweetness and some spice. Let's just pull it up. Azaro by Night. So here it is. Just to give you guys the note breakdown. And then this will be the last one we'll talk about. So warm, spicy, cinnamon, fruity, woody, citrus, sweet, amber, tobacco, aromatic, and fresh spicy. So you can see the note breakdown. That's basically it right there. There's nothing else to say. That's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get that warm, spicy cinnamon off the top with a fruitiness in the background, a nice little woodiness to it, slight citrus, a little bit of sweetness, and that tobacco, that amber and tobacco mixed together. It's a banger. It's a banger for sure. If you know about Spice Bomb Extreme or Spice Bomb, it has a similarness to that. I personally like this more, way more. I'm not a huge fan of the Spice Bomb, but it's good. This is better, in my opinion. One other one, actually, I already last week I spoke about the Supremacy Noir. That's a super masculine fragrance. We already talked about it last week, though, so I'm not going to talk about it too much right now. So the next, just the last one, really quick. I know I said that'd be the last one. H24. H24. This is a musk. So this is a musky fragrance, like a white musk. It smells like, Kara would say it smells like soap, but it smells like almost like I want to say like almost like a banana plant peel, not like banana. Don't get me wrong, not like a banana, but like banana peel with a plant mixed in it. I know that sounds weird, but it's very popular. Like a lot of men love this. It just has. It's supposed to be sweet and fruity, but the type of fruitiness of men's fragrances for the most part, when it's the masculine ones, it's different. It's not like fruity like a girl's fragrance. It's fruity like the plant of the fruit more than the actual fruit. And this definitely has, in my opinion, a little bit of a banana smell, banana peel smell. But it's really good. And like I said, a lot of men really, really love it. I don't know if I love it as much as most men do, but I wear it sometimes. It's definitely a good fragrance. And, like I said, it's super popular. Men go crazy over it. I'm definitely not one of the ones that go crazy over, but it's good. It's definitely good. I like Spice Bomb. I got a sub to Scentbird recently, and I'm trying to update my fragrances. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, then there you go. I just gave you a nice list. If you like Spice Bomb, then you'll like Azaro Wanted by Night. I think you'll like it more. I personally think that this is better than Spice Bomb. Now, the difference is this gives you a little bit more sweetness. That's the big difference, and not in a bad way, in a good way. Yeah, the H24 is not bad. It's pretty good. Nautica Voyage or Club Do You Need? Which would you choose? I would personally pick for you, Todd. Get the Club. Get the Club Do You Need? So the Nautica Voyage is a more younger scent. So that's it's very good. Don't get me wrong. It's super duper fucking good. Like it's a super sexy fragrance, but it's a cucumber fragrance. It's a summertime cucumbery fragrance. The Club Do You Need? You can wear this in the summer too. So this is a summer or winter time. The Nautica Voyage, you can't wear that in the winter. Maybe like if you're going to be indoors or something, but that's a summertime fragrance for sure. It's watery. It's like a beach type fragrance. But this is an anywhere, everywhere type of fragrance, and it's not sweet. The Nautica Voyage has a sweet, cucumbery freshness. It's like shower gel. So think about like a really good quality shower gel. That's kind of what it smells like with like cucumbers in it. Not just like cucumbers, but like a cucumber note. So people get freaked out when you say a thing like like tobacco, right? It's like it's a tobacco note. I don't even think they actually name cucumber in that. They name melon. So it's a melon scent. But it smells just like cucumbers. A good one, though. I missed a super chat? No, not me. Dave Goodrich with the 5 bones. Need a scent that a buck knives guy would like. That's probably going to be this guy. That's good. Or this guy. One of these two. This is your guy right here. This is a buck type of guy right here, or this one. These are very similar. So now the next one, I'm telling you, would be, I know I just said it, a lot of people are wearing it, but if you're not around a lot of people that wear fragrances, then try the Sauvage. You're guaranteed to like it. This is very mass appealing. There's a reason why it's one of the most popular men's fragrances. It's super masculine. It's timeless, it's ageless. Like, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can wear this all the way to your deathbed, and you can wear it not super young, but you don't have to be, you don't have to be you can be like 20 and wear it, and you'll be really good, and girls will love it. But yeah, that's what I would recommend to you for sure, Dave. Especially if you like bucks. Tobacco, but not Marlboro Reds. Yeah, I'll tell you what though, the Mancera Red Tobacco does have a little bit of a Marlboro Red kind of pop right off the top, because it's almost like smelling like a Swisher Sweet off the top. But like I said, it blends. It's like right now, mine's even dying down a little bit. The sharpness is kind of going away. If I stick my nose in it, then I do smell it. But if I pull away and I smell it from here, it's so good. Like, it just mixes really well. This is a type of fragrance that has layers, and I'm talking about the where the hell did it go? The red tobacco. It's the type of fragrance that has layers to it. So some fragrances is whatever it smells like right off the bat, it's going to smell like that to the end. A lot of fragrances have layers though, to where it's like the top layer starts dying down, a little woodiness comes out, maybe freshness, maybe sweetness might come out. This has 3 layers at least. So the top note is a lot of people might be, might be standoffish about. They might not be too happy with it. But within 10 minutes, that starts dying down, and you'll start picking up the other notes, and then it starts blending, and then you're like, holy shit, this is actually really, really good. That's how I was. When I first smelled it, I was like, eh. But then all of a sudden I was sitting here and I was like, I keep smelling something that's really, really good. And I thought I was smelling this, and I was like, I haven't wore that. And then I started getting the deal. Yeah, fresh tobacco smells nice. Yes, it does. It does, especially when it's mixed right. It has to be mixed right. What about Swisher Sweets? Yeah, I mean, you could say a Swisher Sweet. Man, that fucking thing smells so good. It really does, man. There's something about it that is, it's addicting. You want to keep smelling it. Like, I sprayed it earlier, and it's a 3 sprayer. Like, you don't need more than 5 tops. 5 tops. If you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that. That's kind of what I do, but I like to do 1, 2, 3, and then if I want to put some on my arms, I will. But it's strong. You don't need a lot. But when you spray it on your chest, this is what I love about it. When you spray it on your chest, you'll start getting that. After the first part breaks down, you'll start smelling it coming up, like as I'm working, and I'll keep getting that sweetness that this has in it, and it just makes me fall in love with it. It's so good. I want to try the Supremacy. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I have another Supremacy Gold. I'm not a huge fan of personally. It's a sweet, spicy scent. But this one you probably like. But yeah, I got all these bottles. Like, I have like 1,000 bottles like this. I'll bottle you up a decent amount and send them out to you. I can get you a bunch. I got the shit to funnel it in and stuff. Oh, you got it. What do you think about it? Did you get it? Did you already get it, or did you just buy it? I got to hear what you think about it. That Privé is fire. Oh, that's so good. That's right now probably going to be kind of my signature scent. I'm going to be using that one quite often. As soon as I got it, there's not often where I buy a fragrance and I wear it for like 5 days straight. But that's how that one kind of is. If it wasn't for Jones sending me this and then a bunch of other samples that I'm going to be testing out, these are all little samples. I normally don't like getting the tiny bottles. The smallest bottles I like to get are the 3 mLs or 0.1 ounce, because then I have enough to wear it for like 2 days. This is enough to where I really get to try it. When they're 2 small samples like this, you really only get to put it on one good time, and what the problem is that you don't get a good idea of a fragrance if you don't spend like 4 or 5 days with it. You got to spend some days with a fragrance. That's how fragrances are. Because what happens is sometimes a note will be in a fragrance and it'll put you off, right? And you'll be like, "Ooh, I don't really like that," right? But if you would just smell it 3 or 4 more times with throughout a couple days, you would get so attracted to it. It'd be your favorite fragrance you've ever smelled. But it's because notes break down. They like the fragrances get better. They age differently, and then the way it wears on your skin might be different the second time than the first time. It's kind of weird how that goes. And also, I think your brain plays a part. Jared, I like Leighton and Straight to Heaven. I've had Leighton. I haven't tried Straight to Heaven. I do have. Oh, you know what I got on the way actually? This is actually pretty dope. So there's this company that what they do is they try to captivate a scent in a bottle. So like let's just say, and I'm just talking shit, let's say a mechanic shop, right? So what they'll do is they'll make a fragrance that literally smells like a mechanic shop. I know that sounds stupid, but like let's say if your thing was out on the beach on a Friday night, right? Like they would try to captivate what it smells like. They'd be out on the beach on a Friday night. Or like they have ones like by the fire. That's what they call it. Like they have different notes or different fragrances. By the fire literally smells like you're sitting next to a bonfire or like you're sitting next to a fire, like roasting marshmallows or something. They have a bunch of different ones and they all smell exactly like what they are. So it's called something, I forget the name of it, but it's basically an imitation of whatever memory you have. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to capture memories in a bottle. And I ordered one. I'm gonna try it. I forget which one I got, but when I get it, we'll see. We'll see if it holds up. I've heard that they do. I've heard that it does smell just like what they say. It's so good. At first, it seems a little feminine, but it's really good. Costco has a good price. Oh yeah, Cameron. Yeah, there's really no. I mean, I know. I don't know what you mean by the feminine part with that one because that is to me personally I would say super masculine, but I guess you could say it's a unisex. But personally, I don't really know any girls that would wear that. It's got a lot of lemony freshness to it, which is usually a men's fragrance. But no, dude, it's fantastic. And sometimes you have to, like I said, that's kind of the same thing. I was saying just a minute ago is that there's fragrances where you might get the wrong impression of it right at first. And trust me, like I did that with this right away. I said, nope, I hate it. But then fucking 30, 45 minutes later, after I sprayed it again, and I waited till the next day. The next day is when I really started falling in love with this. That's how fragrances are. So, but the ones that do get you right off the bat, like you're just like, oh yeah, I love it, right? Those are great. Like they're really, really good. And those are usually the ones that people wind up buying. But those are also the ones that can get boring and they wind up they wear off really. There's just so many different fragrances, so it's kind of hard to mix them all in the same bucket. But didn't Kramer come up with the beach cologne? I don't know, maybe. They do have one that's like that though. How is Mon and Kara? I'm good. Kara's good too. She's in the other room probably playing her game. Um they settle, then you try to maintain the power of them. Yeah, it's weird that some off-putting smells become attractive over time. Yeah, acquired smells, but the reason why also is because it's just a shock to you. So when you first smell it, it's like a little bit of a shock to your brain, and your brain will notice it as something new, and it's not something you typically have smelled. So your brain will instantly think like no, right? But then now that you've smelt it, now you have a memory of it. So now I'm not saying like if you smell it over 3 days and you don't like it, then yeah, it's probably not for you for sure. But if you smell it over a 3-day period and you're starting to grow to like it, you're probably gonna fucking fall in love with it. And the people around you will like it as well. Because there's fragrances that like I personally I don't even really like that much, but Kara like just loves. And it's just that's the way it is. Thanks for your reply on my 15V question. No problem, Chris. No problem at all. I'm about to head out, peeps. All right, brother. Thank you for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Oh, what time is it? 9:13. We got about 15 more minutes. That red tobacco will last 24 hours plus, especially on your clothes. A little goes a long way. Yeah, yeah, it's a strong one. And yeah, you're right. On clothes, it's going to last the longest. That's where you're going to be able to smell it. Yeah, probably. I'd say, yeah. I don't know if it lasts 24 hours, but I would imagine it lasts pretty close to it. But that Armani Privé, man, that's some fire shit. White grape swisher. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way it is, like a fruity swisher sweet, kind of. But right off the bat, it's heavy with the tobacco, very heavy with the tobacco. And there's something sharp about it. Um, Anyways, cotton candy, not for me, for her. Yes. No, I mean, like, I'm talking about like some like super masculine fragrances that like don't have sweetness to them, like that are off-putting to me. Some of them, like Kara's like, holy shit, I like that. And I'm thinking like, I don't know if I can wear that. Now I got to try Armani Privé. I'm gonna send you some. I'm gonna send you some. I'm gonna bottle you up some. I got a big bottle of it anyways. I got a bunch of them I'm gonna send you. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But when you send it off to somebody else to try it. But it's good for you to have. Like, I love like having like different fragrances coming in for me to try out and test, so that I find the bangers, and then I can have my collection full of absolute bangers, because I have some that I don't like. I definitely have fragrances in my collection that like I'll probably never wear. Cameron, thank you, man. Thank you for the 5 bones with the super sticker. You're awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who's donated tonight. You guys are amazing. Can't wait to use my Pyrite Warncliffe on the feed bags. Yeah, the Pyrite's dope. I like the Pyrite. I also like the Echo. The Echo is another one that's just super good. Such a good knife. I want black pepper smoked meat scent. Ooh. Try Sauvage Elixir. You might get something like what you're wanting right there. Just try it. You'd be surprised. It's definitely got that black pepper. Strong black pepper. And then it's got I don't know about smoked meat, but it's got a semi sweetness to it. I used to say it's kind of like grape juice with a pile of black pepper on top of it with a sprinkle of cinnamon. But I think it's grapefruit, not grape juice that's in there. Hey, Jared, send you a PayPal with a note. All right, all right. Let's check it out. Oh man, thank you. Holy shit, thank you so much. I don't see the note. Okay, here we go. Okay, I tried to add my comment in about 10 different ways. I tried to censor. Why won't it show me the rest? It won't show me the rest. It literally is stopping on. Tried to censor any mention of a knife or blade. That shouldn't be true. That's crazy. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Normally people have no problem with it. I don't know why you did. And I don't know why it's not showing me the rest of your message, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. Why will it not show me the rest of your message? I can see dot, dot, dot. It literally won't let me, but thank you, man. I do appreciate the 5 bones. And Bradford Lennox. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the donation. Holy cow, Bradford. You're awesome, man. Holy shit. You sent me 50 bones, man. Wow. That's amazing, man. Holy cow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome, man. Wow. Was not expecting to see that. Very cool. I prefer Sauvage Eau de Parfum, but my tobacco gunny juice is smelling sweet lately. The Sauvage EDP, man, that's my favorite one of the Sauvages is the EDP. So, I can see why you'd prefer it. But the regular Sauvage is really good too. All the Sauvages are good. All of them are fucking fire. I think the one difference is the regular Sauvage is a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit like Creed Avantis, and this, it has a musk to it and a freshness to it that the regular one doesn't have, that to me stands out, makes it smell really good. Let me scroll down. I got that. Got the super chat. What's up, Eva Lee? It did the same to me earlier, Jared. Really? I'll double check stuff. I hope they're not starting to crack down on knife stuff here on YouTube, because that ain't cool. Hey Jared, my knife fall 12 feet and got blade play trying. If not, this still get blade play horizontal and vertical. That's it. Notice blade hole is no more size of a pin. It's disturbed. So did you try to tighten it up? Try to tighten it up. Make sure all the hardware is nice and tight. So if it's got vertical play. So you're saying it's got up and down. It's got play this direction, not this direction, but this direction. Is that what you're saying? So what you might have to do is, I don't know what kind of knife it is, but you might have to move the lock bar over a little bit. It might have hit the lock bar and maybe dented it or something, which is now giving it a little rock. So what you can do is you can scuff it up with a piece of sandpaper, or you can take it apart and take your lock bar and push it over a little bit and get it to tighten up just a little bit. That will probably help. Hey Jared, awesome channel. I've been trying to find a way to contact you. Do you still sharpen high quality knives? So how do I get a hold of you? Right now my books are closed, GM. I'm sorry, I have my books closed right now, but you can contact me through email. Usually Kara handles all the emails and stuff. Instagram too, but she might be a little bit slower on there. I try to get to some too, but email is usually the number one way. But right now my books are closed, so that might be, if you try to get a hold of me, I might not have answered. But I try to answer everybody, but we get so backed up with messages, and it's just tough for me to open it up right now. I got so much going on. I talked about it last week that it's probably going to be a while if I do open it back up. If you need somebody for me to refer you to, I can absolutely do that. YSL is, I have all the YSLs, not all, most of them, and they are some of my favorite fragrances too. Yes, Chip. The YSLs are bangers. They are like the best the best blue fragrances in my opinion, as far as the ones I have. Crazy Ryan says, what's your opinion on Elmax steel, and does it prefer a toothy edge or a polished edge? So as far as Elmax goes, Elmax is going to depend on the heat treat and the company that's doing it, but it can take a polished edge just fine and hold it. When it's ran on the softer side, then you're going to want a medium grip. So it just depends on the steel, depends on your exact one. So what you can do is you can try to put a polish on there, and if you start using it, if it gets slick, then just throw a medium grip over the top of it, and then that means it's going to be a medium grip. But I've tried both examples where it's taken and held the polish really, really, really well, and then I've also had it kind of like M390 where it's not that it doesn't take it, and it's not that it doesn't do well, but it just does better with a medium grip. So it really depends. There are some steels like that where it's all like M390 is a great example. M390, when it's softer, you have to put a medium grit on there. But when it's done well, man, you can put a mirror polish on there and it'll hold it for a long time. And it'll stay sticky. It'll get ridiculously sticky and sharp. But there's times. What do you think of Shirogorov F3 Terra Special Edition Rare Earth? It sounds dope. I don't know about it though. It's 90V. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I got the F95 and the F3R, so it's kind of similar to mine. I just got the regular carbon fiber though. So it's very similar to the ones I have. I love them. I love the Shuros. I think the Shuros are great. I wish I had a Shuro. Well, I do have one Shuro with multiple deployments. This one is the only one I have. I have 3 Shuros, And this one has the multiple points. Shout out to Mr. Amazing, by the way. He's the one who gave me this. What a fucking phenomenal person, man. Mr. Amazing, man. What a good dude. I can't believe he would give me things like this. Like, these are some of my most prized possessions. But it has a reverse flicking hole, which I love. This is a big knife. This is probably a 4-inch blade, if not more. Very, very pokey. Stupid smooth. Great flipping action. But yeah, most of my Sherrills are only flippers. Flipper only. LMAX holds a really good edge. LMAX is basically, you know, I like to think of it like M390 or 20 CV. It's very, very similar, you know, even in its edge retention. So it's really good. It just, you know, like any steel, the softer it is, the less edge retention it's going to have. The harder it is, the more edge retention it's going to have, and then also the more edge stability it's going to have. You see the pics I sent on my Smith & Wesson Karambit? I love that dang knife. I got to get sharpened, though. It's going to cost twice as much as the knife did. Hope you have enough barbershop. I do have enough barbershop now. Thank you. Mr. Amazing Santa Claus to the stars. Yes. Thoughts on the CK Maverick S in full titanium? The CK Maverick. Let me check it out. I haven't tried it. It looks dope, but I haven't tried it, so I can't really speak on it. It looks really cool though. Can you refer someone for knife sharpening? Yes. So you can try 2 people. One, Mike Emler, but I'm not sure if he's taken any. His books might be closed too, but otherwise do Blades and Fades. Blades and Fades, it should have his books open. He'll take you on. Just tell him, you can contact them on Instagram, Blades and Fades, and tell him I sent you. And then Kyle Coonley does sharpening too, but I'm not sure what he's doing right now. I think he might be taking a break. So I think the Fairchild is underrated. Yes, it is. It's not even that it's underrated. It's just it's an expensive knife. It's hard to get people. So if that knife was built by Custom Knife Factory, which it feels like it is, then it'd be going crazy. It'd be going for like $600, you know, because it's similar to like the Rotten Designs. It really feels that good. But people, you know, they look at Best Tech and like $400, man, that's fucking crazy. That's the way they think, but they don't realize like how badass that knife is. That knife is dope. Maybe it's not quite 400, but it's up there. Luck will put a mean pull through on it for you. Yeah, I wish I could help everybody out. I wish I could take on all the sharpening, but if I open up my books, I literally have to take on like 100 people. You know, even if I open it up for an hour just to see who will show up, it'll still, you know, it's like I don't want to hang on to your guys' knives longer than a couple weeks, and that's what'll wind up happening. Even right now, I have some in for sharpening now. Just got some done the other day, and I got some, not many, but a few that I have to get out to people that I have. And you know, it takes me longer than normal because I can't film, I can't edit, and I can't post while I'm doing that. So for reasonable cost, the new MKM releases of some of the slip joint, the edges, for example, with liner locks, look pretty good. Yeah, I like the MKMs. The only thing I have a problem with the MKMs, and this is the same thing I have a problem with Fox and any of the Italian companies, they run their M390 soft as shit, and they use it a lot. So I don't understand why. I don't know why they don't just use a different steel. They don't need to use M390, but they do. And it's like there's no point to use a steel that's recommended 61, 62 HRC and run it at 58 to 59 or 58 to 60 or whatever. There's no reason to do it. Just use a different steel. Now, like with them, the problem I have with them with a lot of the Italian companies is it actually shows too. Like there's some companies where it's like they might run it a little bit softer, but it's still done very well, and it still feels really good on the stone, still holds a really good edge. But then there's some of the Italian companies where it's like you can tell like and it's almost like, and I haven't HRC tested, but it almost feels like it's even softer. And it might be, maybe that's why. Um, so hopefully they get that dealt with. Would you buy Apex knife? You talking about the Sharp by Designs, Jason? You talking about the Sharp by Designs? I would buy the other one first. I have the Apex. I do like the Apex. The Apex is great, but the clip is very annoying in the hand and it's painful. Like holding on to it's not ergonomic at all because of that clip. But the mini Evo is badass. Will a DLC Koenig hold up better to daily use over the straight M390 uncoated? No, not really. It's gonna stop corrosion, but it depends on what you're doing with it because DLC is gonna be the strongest coating you can get, so it's gonna hold up as far as if you're talking about patina and like stuff like that. But M390 is super duper stainless. So unless if you're really, really worried about corrosion, the thing with DLC is that even though it's DLC and DLC is the strongest coating and it will hold up the best, it's still gonna scratch, right? It's still gonna wear if you use it a lot. If you're not using it a lot, then it's not gonna matter. But if you're really using that knife, which I doubt you will be because it's a Koenig Aries, then an uncoated would look the best over time with use. So it just depends on how you're using it. But yeah, DLCs will, for the most part, hold up longer because you're not going to worry about patina or rust. No problem, Jason. I hope they improve that heat treat. Really like the overall aesthetics and feel of many. Me too, Anthony. Me too. There's so many I really, really, really like, and there's some I even I just fucking get anyways because I like them so much. But yeah, man, I just that is one thing, man. It's like I don't know. They know too. It's not like they don't know. They know. So I don't know when they're gonna get it, get it together. Maybe it's because they just don't have the. I don't even want to say they don't have the ability because they do. I think I think it just boils down to belts and grinding. I think that they try to save money on belts and tooling and things, and the harder the steel, the more they're gonna go through. Gonna watch a movie with my pops. Take care, brother. I'll email you later. All right, brother. Yeah, we're gonna take off too. Guys, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the donations. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Sorry, I'm burping. Shout out to everybody in the chat who sat here and hung out all night. I do appreciate, and I love doing this, and I love sitting here hanging out and talking knives with you guys. I do want to figure out a way to do the lives a little bit more controlled and start having segments and everything. And I've really thought about that. Maybe I might boil down to doing just one a week. That way I have time all week to kind of come up with topics and segments and stuff. But we'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm like really full blown balls deep into this editing app. And hopefully the content is really going to step it up. And I appreciate you guys watching the content. Work hard, stay tough. Society's relying on you. Until next time, peace. And sorry we did not hit story time. We'll hit story time next time. I promise. I actually did have a pretty good story too. So next time, love you guys. You guys should have reminded me. Peace.